guys, welcome to the Music Roundtable with our hosts Lyle,
Hello.
Clint,
Hello.
Kim,
Hi,
and I'm Vicky, where we discuss our opinions and experiences of the music we love, or maybe not.
I was reading
Did we
something.
have notes on Michael Jackson? Did you need them?
Yeah, we got
Oh, they're there.
So I was reading something.
You mean you lost my novel?
No, it's part of the adventure.
Oh, can you go grab that? Actually, we need those.
I was
But
reading
I'll just
something
Send you this.
today, and how they're saying like, does music give you goosebumps?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And if it does, your brain is wired different than most people.
Really?
How's that?
I'm not
That's
sure.
70 tabs
I'm
open.
not
What the
sure.
hell?
I was reading about it, and I was just curious to see if you guys actually experience, like, do you get emotional or?
I've had... I don't know if I would say goosebumps, but I've definitely had a physical reaction to certain songs.
Sure.
Well, I'll hear something and it'll either just bring back a gush of memories or just something just hits weird that you just all of a sudden feel different. I don't know how to explain
I get
it.
Goosebumps with certain Nickelback songs for sure.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like it just depends on the song, but yeah, I do definitely get goosebumps. And yeah, same as you though. Like
Yeah.
you just have those feelings and stuff that happen, right? But goosebumps, yes.
And it's usually something that just kind of hits you out of the
yeah,
blue.
yeah.
And you're not expecting it.
No, you're just like boo boo boo. Oh,
Well,
Yeah,
that's a good song.
It's anticipation because, like, I get it on certain Tea Party songs because I hear that intro
And you know it's
I
coming.
know what's coming, and usually it's off one of like my live CDs and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like I know what's happening, and then like even now I'm talking about
Yeah.
it, and it happens. So
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Goosebumps.
Okay.
The live
I'm
version
just,
of Garth Brooks,
That's-
Friends in
oh.
Those Places.
That's the best.
Right?
Yeah, every time.
When you hear those first few notes
Yes.
and you hear the crowd go crazy, I'm just like, yeah.
And thunder rolls too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally get that. Yeah.
because, well, when I saw Leopard, I was actually tearing up. I was getting goosebumps. I
Yeah.
was certain songs, and
Yeah.
it's it's curious. Like I've read it. I just wanted
That's
to find
interesting.
your emotions on how music, I guess,
Triggers-
responds or
Influences
triggers.
your, influences your mood and your
triggering.
Yeah.
emotions. Yeah.
Like, is it more? And they're also saying like it. Of course, it brings back memories, so maybe that's why the goosebumps thing and the way.
Probably.
For some of them, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of memories, this artist from the 80s, Michael Jackson, which we already mentioned at the start, I think we need to talk about his contribution to how the music in the 80s changed because of him.
Yeah. And just to clarify, we're only going to be talking about his music. We're not getting into any of the allegations or any of that kind of stuff in his personal life and stuff like that. It's about the music.
Correct. There's lots of other people who talk about that crap. We don't need to.
Exactly.
It's all
So
about
you can
the
go
good
find it
feels.
elsewhere.
That's right.
But anyway, on that note, MJ, the great
The great.
genius MJ, biggest selling album of all time, I believe, still.
Yeah.
Thriller.
Thriller.
Yes, it is. I actually looked it up.
Did you look
because
it
it
up?
also kept your Death Leopard at number 2.
Yes,
That's
it did.
right. Yeah.
Pyromania
That's
was
right.
kept out at number 2 because, well, it kept out at number 1.
Mm-hmm.
It stayed in number 2 because of Michael Jackson Thriller.
Thriller. Yeah. I mean, you can listen to that one at any time of the year, but, obviously on our Halloween podcast, we discussed the fact that it was huge and popular during Halloween. But, I mean, it was just on the other day on the radio, and I was like, yeah, it's good.
It's so good.
Still good.
I love it.
Oh, there's
It's
just
one
something,
of my favorites.
that video.
Oh,
The
yeah,
video
it
is
is amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll even watch the video outside of Halloween. I mean,
Oh,
I
heck
watch
yeah.
it, like I said, at Halloween all the time anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things that's just phenomenal.
It stands the test of time on that video for some reason. I don't know if it was just how much it cost to make, does anybody know how much that one cost to make? That video? Because it was ridiculous. I remember it being like...
Yeah, well, they also came out
the
with
video?
They also came out with the movie of the making of Thriller.
Yes, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying, how much did it make? Let's see, how much did it cost?
Apparently, the budget was $900,000. MTV paid for half of it. Showtime paid for the other half.
Yeah.
Justifying the expenses, financing a short film rather than a music video.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why
Oh.
it was so good.
Okay, I didn't realize that he didn't like it was
It was paid for
for by
partially.
other-
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that smart marketing.
Well, it's very smart.
Well, it was all about the marketing, and it is very smart way to do it or whatever. Because, well, one, here we are, how many years later, discussing it.
40 years later, we're still talking about Michael Jackson, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And what is I don't remember exactly who he hired, but I know they actually had actual, like, the technicians for, like, when he does the change into the wolf and stuff, like, people that worked on
Movies.
the actual movies.
Yeah.
And, like, you take some of the old Wolfman movies, you don't really see the transformation, but they actually put, at that time, like, obviously kids would laugh at it now, but at that time they put the state of the art technology that they used using, like, whatever, the bubble packs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
But
was.
it's still, that's what I'm
that
saying.
was
It's
very
still
cool,
Well, that's what I
actually.
enjoyed about that video, how they had the making and they showed you how they did all those parts.
Yeah.
That just, blew my mind back when I was 10 years old.
Yeah, right.
Watching that, right?
10?
Yeah.
Were you 10? Were we 10?
We were,
9,
12?
10, yeah.
Oh.
December 83 is when it first came out.
83.
so we would have been, like,
Nine.
9.
Nine.
Yeah.
We would have been 9. Someone would have been
She
still
still
8.
would have been 8.
I would have been 8.
But yeah, they were saying when they debuted it on MTV The Making, they would broadcast or they would advertise when they would next play it. And apparently each showing recorded 10 times the normal audience of any of their other videos.
Oh, I bet you
10
they're
times.
10 times. Their advertisers were real happy.
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Think about how much the slots would cost for ads during that.
Even when they still kept showing it into the new year, by the time, it says, I'd have some notes. It says Showtime showed them 6 times in February, and within months, the VHS had sold 1 million copies, more than any prior video release, and went on to sell 10 million in total.
Holy crap.
It was-
I have one of those.
Yes, that's
It's
the one you gotta get
well
changed
worth
over.
the investment from the two companies that invested
Yeah.
into
Right?
it.
Totally.
It paid dividends.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, you look at his. I'm just going to rewind a bit
Okay.
Oh,
to
yeah.
when he started.
So sorry, we just got off tangent.
No, that's fine.
How do we get off tangent? This is what we're talking
This
about.
is what we do.
This is what we do.
But that's what I had written down, though, to talk about.
Oh.
The start.
Oh, perfect.
There
Okay.
we go.
Well,
So,
then,
there we
you
go.
know,
Then we will backtrack a
we
little
randomly
bit.
stole from your thing. And
Well, that's
yeah,
that's
gotta
why we
go
have
back.
all these notes.
That's right.
Right. So he started with, the Jackson 5 started in 1964.
Which perform, children, perform.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
But and they signed with
His
Motown.
dad was very big on
Yeah,
that.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, in '68. So they had some pretty popular songs like ABC and Rockin' Robin and
yeah.
being on Ed Sullivan and
Yep.
and all those, right? Mm-hmm. And then I guess he moved to New York, which I doing research for this episode.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And he got into hanging out at Studio 54. So I think that's where he got into the early hip hop and the as they called it, the beatboxing on the feature tracks.
But you missed. He had a solo.
No, this was before.
Was that before? Okay,
Yeah.
because I was going to say
No,
because
this is because he just moved there, and then
in
because his first
70
album was Off the Wall. That was
But
his
he,
first
was
solo.
that where was that?
His first solo album. Yeah.
first solo album.
Okay, because
In
his
72.
first solo hit song was Ben in 1972.
But that was still with. I believe that was the Jackson, wasn't it?
No, it was him.
Oh, okay.
Because there's an album. My parents have it.
Okay.
It's
That
just
was-
called Ben, and
Okay.
that whole album is hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Says it was
For
his
sure.
first solo #1 hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Did he do it with the Jackson 5 or did he do it with
No,
just a solo?
it was his.
It was a solo
He was-
single?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was still doing stuff with the Jackson 5, but
Okay.
this was something he put out on
I
his
thought
own.
for some reason that he did that with just
No.
the Jacksons. Okay.
No.
I know the song.
It was around the same time. Like I should look. I'll find the album.
Yeah.
My parents have it, but yeah, like it's just him.
Okay. I
From
knew
what
that.
I remember,
knew
anyways.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that might be just
Maybe a
before
solo
that.
song? Maybe a
Play
solo
it.
song? Maybe?
Well, the Ben, the song itself.
It's just
was,
one song?
It was for a movie.
Oh, okay. That's why.
There was a movie called
Okay.
Ben. So that's probably why. And then he did the album for it. Let's see. First #1 hit on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart
Okay.
was Ben.
And when was he?
that was
did he
actually
do-
his second solo album.
That was his second?
Yeah, his first one was actually called Got to Be There, that he did when he was 13. when he was still
see?
when he was
See?
still performing with his
Okay.
brothers.
This is why
Sorry.
research doesn't always work,
I
but it's
know.
good because everybody finds something different, right?
Yeah.
Look at that. So
Wow.
there we go.
Well, when did he do the movie with Diana Ross, The Wiz?
The Wiz.
78, wasn't it?
77, I
77.
have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
boy, does it look it.
Like me, I was just guessing. I knew it was in that range.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, a lot
No,
of
that
it
was a
happened.
good guess.
A lot of that jump happened in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's when, well, after that, he did release Off the Wall. Because when I looked it up, it said Off the Wall was his
First solo.
full length album.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it down as his breakthrough album.
Yeah.
breakthrough album. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would make
Yeah.
sense.
Okay.
Because apparently he had, 1, 2, 3, 4 records
Okay.
between 69 and 73, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah. So then what? Maybe he just kept reinventing himself, and each one was a new first solo.
Yeah.
Maybe.
First solo.
Who knows?
But apparently that
I
one
was going to
produced
say
4.
there is artists where that happens because this was years like many years ago at an award show. Some band won like best new artist or something like this, but they'd been around for 20 years.
Oh, jeez.
How's that work?
I don't know. Maybe they changed genre, so they're into a new genre. So
Oh, maybe. So it could be considered
Yeah.
new.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Change one
bizarre.
member. It's new. Yeah.
Well, do you think Off the Wall was one of the bigger disco, if you want to call it that, albums? Probably.
I don't know.
Apparently, it helped Jackson 5 sell their albums.
Because I remember the video for Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. It was all the
Yeah.
lighting show, and he
Yeah.
was doing all
Yeah.
the dancing. So that would be kind of that R&B
Yeah, probably.
disco.
I don't know. When you think disco for biggest artist, I'm sorry, my mind immediately kind of goes to the Bee Gees, or as odd as this sounds, Kiss.
Yeah, for the one song, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
A little
yeah.
bit, but all right. I
Yeah,
see where
and-
you're going.
That happened to be their biggest song, isn't it? Highest selling song?
It definitely would be up there. I
Yeah,
don't know.
was.
I don't think it
was.
is.
That's their only number 1, I think, or something.
Is it? Oh well, when we get to that, we'll get to that.
That's a future episode.
It's another conversation for another day.
Yeah. And then that leads us into the 80s with the recording of Thriller.
Before we go too far on
Yep.
that, though, is obviously with the Wiz and the involvement of these albums, there came in the collaboration with Quincy Jones at
Yes.
that time.
Yes.
And obviously with the fact that I don't know when this is going to air, but obviously he's recently passed away,
Yeah.
so we should probably talk about that somehow. I don't know if anyone has notes, but
Well, because I think when we originally recorded, he hadn't passed.
He had just. Oh no, he passed the weekend after.
That's right, because
That's
we had some technical difficulties and skipped recording the Michael Jackson episode. And I think, there's always
Yeah,
a
within a
reason.
couple of
That's why I said
days,
things
yeah.
happen for a reason. and-
So now, he's passed on. And since
which
then.
is a loss in the music industry.
Oh, for sure. Because it wasn't just Michael Jackson, I don't think, that he influenced or
Oh,
helped
no.
with, right?
No, he worked with what was that? What did I have? I had Frank Sinatra. I had sorry, just give me a second here.
because what I read here quickly is, he had his whole jazz career before he even
Oh, yeah.
went into that. And then, oddly enough, he went into kind of scoring and soundtracks and stuff like
Yeah.
this as well. So he's multifaceted. or
Yeah, I
whatever.
was just coming across the jazz thing and everything.
Well, watching the We Are the World making.
Yeah, he
I'm
had a lot
watching
to do
him.
with that, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, like that was his main, him and Jackson were the lead, I guess, on that.
Yep.
And he did bring in somebody else, but you're watching him and what he said and how he set up the studio. Like,
Yeah.
he had a sign over top of the door. Leave your egos outside.
door, yeah.
At the door.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming in, you're singing.
Yeah.
Like, he had Bob Geldof come in
Yeah.
to say the reason why you're singing.
This
song.
in this way.
Like, he just played it perfectly. And there is a story about Quincy Jones that I'll get to in a little bit
Well, I was gonna say,
with Eddie Van Halen. So I'll get to that eventually here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did read
But it
that
was
one
just
too.
like, wow, like to work with somebody like that. You can see why Jackson was the way he was on that recording. But
Yeah.
anyway,
it's funny because it's actually one of those things. Is like great musicianship and stuff like this, but ultimately it's marketing genius.
yes,
Yes.
completely.
It like obviously it's no matter what, this is a product to promote, and he knew how to promote, like what sounds to get to promote this product.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And I think with Michael Jackson, like he was just so involved in music, and he was always trying to find something that what can make me better, what can make the songs better. And that's why he would always frequent the Studio 54.
Yeah.
I think it was giving him ideas of like, oh, what can I do here? What can I...
And maybe dance moves?
Maybe dance moves,
Yeah.
and he was practicing that. And how can I make my songs... Like, because he couldn't play an instrument.
No. He was a
So
voice
you have
and
to
he was
make
the moves.
sounds on tapes.
Yeah.
And to get that is you had to listen to music. You had to know...
Well, because they had a big
theory.
part of Motown too, right? Weren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were Motown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was saying. They signed in '68 with Motown, so it was like all the way through.
Well, it's
This-
funny. I just came across something, and it probably ties into your story about Eddie Van Halen, but Michael Jackson's "Beat It" was almost a heavy metal song.
Yes, it was. Yes. So Steve Lukather, I guess, is that
Yeah.
photo there. So he was already playing on the album. So he did all the guitar parts for. I can't remember the song now. I'm trying to play.
It was. Oh no, it doesn't say. It just says he used to play. He played with Toto.
Anyway, so he was playing on it, and then they're like, "Well, we want to make this heavier. Can you do that?" And he was like, "No,
No.
you need to bring in Eddie."
Oh.
And so I guess, well, I might as well tell the story now.
Yeah, tell the story now. Let's hear it.
He Quincy Jones phoned him. It was Human Nature that he was doing the guitar part for. Steve Lukather.
Oh, okay.
Quincy Jones phoned Van Halen up, and he's like, "Quincy Jones? Yeah, no, whatever."
He hung up. He's like, I'm not going to answer
Yeah.
that phone. Yeah,
And
okay.
he called him again, and he's like, "What? No. Like, no way.
Is it a prank?
Like,
It's a
It's a
joke?
prank, right?"
Yeah.
And he hung up.
Oh my God.
Then he phoned him again. He's like, "No, seriously, I need you to come down. So come to the studio, and we need help." So
Jeez.
Eddie's like, "Oh, it actually is Quincy Jones."
Jesus.
Okay. So
Third time's the charm.
yeah. So
Okay, I
he
believe
came
you
in.
this time.
He actually worked on the song without Michael Jackson in the studio. So he changed the arrangement. He added a middle section. He changed the middle section, the arrangement. He added the solo.
Oh.
He didn't want any credit for it. His name's not even on the
Never.
album.
I've never heard that it was
No.
part of it
No.
ever.
And he
Yeah.
did that, and the rest
Not
of the
until I
Van
started
Halen members were
researching
so
did I find that
upset
out.
that he played on it.
Why?
But he's like, it doesn't matter.
No, it was.
But
Quincy
I-
Jones called. Okay.
Yeah, you go there. He didn't want. He didn't get paid for it. He didn't get nothing. And Jackson came in, and he goes, I arranged this and rearranged this and all that. And he played it, and he's like, yeah, done.
Because it was
Perfect.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's not the first time Eddie's done something like that, because
No.
on Back to the Future,
Yeah.
there is a specific reason why on the movie the cassette tape says Edward Van Halen, because it is just Eddie that played the guitar part on
Okay,
that.
so then I guess we need to do an Eddie Van Halen podcast. So I'm just going to add that
or
to
a Van
our,
Halen one. Yes.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Well,
I'll
that's
add
that's
that
the
to
kind
our
of
list.
writer he was. Then it just you know how Beat It is, and then that launched even more artists to come in, because it started off with Steve Lukather, then Eddie Van Halen, and then Slash played on one of the songs. Was it Black and White, or he did a live version of it or something like that
I can't
later on.
remember.
But he always had guitarists that came in to play, and people are like, I will do it.
Jeff
And-
Porcaro is another person apparently that was involved. Part of this article says Jeff Porcaro made a click track and then a drum part, and I played a bunch of really wild guitar parts. That was Eddie Van Halen. Because I knew Eddie's solo was on it, I was doing real hard rock quadruple track riff. Lukather,
Yeah.
not Eddie Van Halen. So apparently he said Quincy wasn't even there. He was at Westlake Recording Studios doing overdubs on Billie Jean while we were fixing Beat It. So we'd be on the phone, and he goes, "It's too metal. You got to calm down. I got to get it on pop radio. Use the small amp, not so much distortion."
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because you don't want it to be Michael Jackson was not. He was
He's
pop.
not like metal. He's definitely pop. Yeah.
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 But it's at a time like one at that time the genres weren't so many different.
No, there was only
That's
a few.
true, yeah.
There was only a few. Yeah.
But yeah, so he was trying to break into other markets. So
Well, it's been pop rock, right?
Yeah,
more rock.
Yeah.
Because Billie Jean had that R&B
Yeah.
happening, right? Whereas Thriller, that was a pop song. Like the chorus was just that's a pop. That's
Yeah.
just your basic chorus, right?
Yeah.
Nothing too fancy, and now you've got there. Like if you listen to that album, which I have several times in lately, Beat It just stands out. Like it's totally different than
Oh, it's
Than the rest of it, yeah.
like you've got your disco, if you want to call it that, or R&B,
Yeah.
and you've got all these other songs, and then you even had Paul McCartney
Oh,
on there
yes.
as well.
I know, I love that
Right?
song too.
The Girl Is Mine, right? It's,
Yeah.
it's a typical Paul McCartney,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. Like
Yeah.
he knew what he was doing.
He
For
knew, and he
bringing
knew what he
art in.
wanted. Yeah.
He knew what artists sold.
Yes.
once
Like
again,
Paul
back to
McCartney was the
marketing
biggest
thing.
in the 60s and 70s. You know, one of the biggest artists. So
Well, and
why not?
that would have been during his Wings time too, right? So
After the Wings, yeah, it was more of his. It was when he went solo, McCartney, because they did "Say Say Say" as well as "The Girl Is Mine."
yeah.
Oh yeah, they did too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Those are so good. The Beatles influence, so to speak, right?
Yes.
well, yeah, and
Exactly.
like you're picking off like the number one guitar player at that time. Mm-hmm. Well, two, because of Steve Lukather. Like he was huge. Now you've got one of the premier singers in Paul McCartney, like who was also doing the duet with Stevie Wonder at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
It was
that
good
album, it just-
matching.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Like,
it's the recipe. Of
He definitely
success.
had the recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
oh yeah, there's a few stories that I was looking up.
With just Quincy and him, or just other
with
people?
Jackson as well. Like he was doing duets with Freddie Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
You'll never hear him though.
No.
Unfortunately.
No,
Yeah.
because he re-recorded with Mick Jagger
Yeah.
the same songs.
Well, wasn't it part of the thing that they actually ended up not doing it because Michael wanted to bring? What was it? Sorry, I forgot. One of his animals.
The llama. Yeah, the llama.
That's what it was. To the studio, and Freddie was like, "No,
No llamas.
And then
Yeah.
Michael Jackson cut it because of all the drinking that Mercury did.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It just
Yeah.
didn't work out.
No, unfortunately.
But you
that
have
would
two
have
of
been
the-
amazing.
Two of
Sometimes
those.
you have the great talent, but unfortunately, conflicting personalities.
Personalities, yeah.
And unfortunately, it does come through on the music. So
That is true. That is true.
What is your favorite song on that album, though?
On which the
Thriller.
Thriller?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Thriller, duh.
Yeah, right. The title track. Yeah, I'd have to go with Thriller too. I mean, I love the whole album. I mean, that was like one of the first albums that I ever had of my own. And yeah, but Thriller will always be probably one of
Yeah.
if not my number one, then definitely my top 5 favorite.
Yeah.
it's one of those
MJ
things. Is
musics.
when you think of the album, you think of the song.
You just think of Thriller.
Yes.
Yeah. Which? Oh, you
Hey,
do you have a different one?
Hey,
You
I was
do?
gonna
What?
Did-
Sorry, go.
We've answered a favorite song. Or
But
like
we
a
can't do an
favorite-
album. We can't do that. Can't
But
answer
we
that
answered a
question.
favorite song to an album.
Yes.
That's
Well,
kind of
I said we could do that. I could give you an album and be like, okay, this is my favorite song, like Bryan Adams' "Waking Up the Neighbors."
Yeah, that's right.
I have a favorite song on that one. Same thing with Michael Jackson "Thriller," but I can't pick one all-time favorite. It
yes.
just can't happen.
I think Billie Jean is probably my favorite.
I mean, I do love Billie Jean too,
Mm-hmm.
but
It's funny. 'cause
I
we talk
don't
ab- Go ahead. It's funny. Like we talk about and the one thing I think which sells the point a lot on these albums is like all these albums, was right when MTV came out and stuff like this. So there's always that kind of visual representation to the song. Like you mentioned Billie Jean, I can automatically think of the sidewalk lighting up.
Yeah, totally. That's what I was just thinking of. Yeah,
the Thriller, obviously the whole production of Thriller and stuff like this. It's with the sound is obviously the visual accompaniment to it, and I think that's what draws people especially to this album particular or whatever.
There was 7 singles from Thriller.
Yeah.
The Girl Is Mine, October 18th, 1982. Billie Jean, January 3rd, 1983. Beat It, February 14th, 1983. Wanna Be Startin' Something, May 9th, 1983. I know, that's what
I was just looking at the track listing for the album too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that song.
I know, I forgot all the songs that were on there.
Yeah.
Human Nature, July 4th, 1983.
It's another
Pretty
great
Young
one.
Thing, so good. September 19th, 1983. And Thriller was released in November 11th, 1983. So that's very
It's actually the last
interesting.
one that was
Yeah.
released. Yeah.
Yeah. What the heck? So yeah, you know what? I love all those songs. So now,
And then there's only like 2 other songs on the album that
that didn't do it.
release, and that was Baby Be Mine and The Lady in My Life, which I love that song too.
Yeah. Dang. That's really hard to say that now. Like, I do love Thriller. I honestly didn't
Girl
remember
Is
all of those
Mine,
songs were
yeah.
on that album.
Human Nature is great.
Yeah.
Pretty Young Thing is cool.
I've got
I know,
Wanna Be
it's
Starting
just a
Something
great
in my
album.
song. Yeah. Song. Oh my gosh. The Girl Is Mine. Still like Thriller. So which one was yours?
Billie Jean.
Billie
And,
Jean.
I know the video.
Yep.
Okay, but I think it
Watched
was
the
when
video,
he
it's so long.
Yeah.
performed it at Motown 25.
Yeah. That was when the Moonwalk came out, right?
Because he was practicing. So during warm-ups for that,
Yeah.
Jackson 5 was out there, and then he
Yeah.
did his
Oh my
warm-ups.
God.
But he didn't perform the moonwalk on the
No,
warm-up.
he did not. No, he did not. I have a whole thing about
That
the moonwalk.
Yeah,
Shock
that's
though.
right.
But the way the performance went down, I don't know if he was lip syncing or not. I don't, doesn't matter, right? At that time. But it was the way the performance was at that time. I think to me, it was probably one of the best performances that I've ever seen.
That was 1980.
100%.
You're talking about the 1983 performance on the Motown 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
Billie Jean. Yeah.
That's when the Moonwalk
That's why
was
there's
born.
just something about that song.
Well, he didn't invent the moonwalk. Did
No,
you
he
know
didn't.
that?
No, he didn't.
No,
No.
he didn't.
But he was the first one to put it in.
perfected
Perfect.
He did
Yeah.
not. Oh, he did not.
I think I did read that somewhere.
Yeah, he popularized it and perfected it, and he did, like you were saying, it happened on Motown during Yesterday, Today, Forever, which made it a global sensation.
Yeah.
Singer Bobby Brown of New Edition was the one of 3 kids Jackson said taught him the dance step in his autobiography Moonwalk. So it's him. Where is it? I know I saw something else here about it. I put it on here. It bridged the gap between West Coast street dance and East Coast breakdancing. He popularized the move on national television. Where is it? Jeffrey Daniel. Jackson was a fan of his dancing and may have learned the moonwalk from him. The West Coast dancers helped Sammy Davis Jr. and Jackie Wilson. Jackson adopted their dramatic postures and dance moves. But yeah, it says really it was Bobby Brown.
Interesting.
Well, I think with that performance, because like we all knew that he could dance.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But you're not used, unless you go see him live, you don't realize it.
No.
And with that performance, you know, he starts off
You
with
don't
the
realize
hat
that
on.
he could dance like that?
Well, you'd never, like, you would see it in the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But to see him do it in
Live.
In person and
Yeah.
live, yeah.
Like the way he started off with just the whole hat movement.
Oh, I
and
love the hat
throwing
movement, yeah.
and the dance move. And it's
Just
just
makes me
me
even more
sad.
bitter that I never got to see him.
Yeah.
like the performance. Like I did see him here. I don't remember.
I was gonna say you wouldn't remember it because you were a child.
I was so high up at BC Place. Like
You wouldn't have been able to see much of it.
yeah,
It'd
I
have been
was.
this big.
Oh my god! Like I was so far back. It's so like I think
He
I was
was
at the
up
top.
in the grandstands, not high.
I just turned 10. I wasn't
I know,
that
but
high.
you literally led into it with, I was so high. No, so high up
And
in
you-
the
you-
stands.
That's what I was.
You
I was
very
so
well
far
could have
away.
been that you were so high up there that the smoke would have
Hey,
got
hey,
up to
Probably
you.
would.
That's
So,
right.
so
You would
high
have
up in the
gotten
stands
high, yeah.
at BC Place.
There you go.
Yes, Lyle.
Yeah.
It's an auditory podcast.
But I was elaborating on what
I
I was
can't
saying.
see you doing
I know,
this.
but you're not seeing
I
your
know.
hand.
I'm telling you guys
Right
though. I know. But yeah, I think he was like. I don't even remember if I even saw him. Like honestly,
Yeah.
unless they had screens,
They
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have had screens back then. The big screens like they do
I
in the
think they
They-
80s.
they
Yes,
were-
were they?
they're-
I don't know. I don't really
I don't know.
remember.
But
I
like,
know I went to concerts in the 80s, but I don't remember if there were big screens or not.
No.
but I did see him.
You did see him. You can say you
I
saw
was
him. You
there.
just don't
I was
remember
there.
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
More of hearing him sing rather than
Yes, because you need the
seeing.
little binoculars when you're up that high, like the opera.
Yeah, right.
I think that was a problem where they put the stage was at the other end.
Oh,
So you
that makes
can't-
it hard too.
Well, the
Yeah,
thing
I
though
can't see it.
is you can still see them, and
You can't see it.
and, and going to the live show, it's more about the ambience of that room.
Oh, it was a great lighting show. Like, it was a great show in general. Like,
you go into
get me
that
wrong.
like
Yeah.
yes, okay, there people look like little ants or whatever on the stage when you're
What
up
is
in the
that ant
nosebleeds.
doing?
Right?
But you're
can't
there
quite tell.
surrounded
Yeah.
with other fans that you feel the music. Like you actually
Yeah.
feel the music when you're in a live.
Oh, and
venue.
you know 100% he was high.
oh, he was.
No, you.
Lyle?
You.
Yeah.
Lyle.
I was high.
Because it all would have gone up and you would have been partaking even though you didn't partake.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, you probably slept real well that night.
I
Yeah.
probably.
Oh, yeah. I think we all partook when we didn't really
yeah.
realize we were partaking,
That's right.
Yeah.
as was the day.
Absolutely.
I don't know, it was a good show.
It was a good
would
show.
imagine.
From what he can remember.
From what he can remember.
I was so
It
high
would
at
have
that
been.
time.
That's right.
At
Lack
the
of
end-
oxygen.
At the end of the day, you can say,
I
I've
saw
seen
Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Yes,
Jackson.
I did. And
Yeah.
for the longest time, I didn't admit that I saw him.
No, because do you remember that?
Yeah.
In elementary school, you
Yeah.
were like out if you liked
you
Michael
meant-
Jackson.
yeah.
And I was like, but I like Michael Jackson. So there was like this one little group of us
yeah, right.
in
Your
elementary
secret
school
little-
that all loved Michael Jackson, and we would talk about them. But yeah, like
Yeah.
it was just like no, you're not allowed to like
know
him.
No,
Prejudice, I think. You know,
no.
it could
When
be.
people ask like what concert he's been to, I would skip it.
you'd skip it. That's
I'd skip a
interesting.
couple of them and then go into I saw Metallica or I saw Leopard or whoever.
Because how dare
Genesis,
you watch
but-
Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? That's not good enough.
No,
I was
like
gonna
that's
say,
not.
If I skip them, it's clearly because I'm just really old and I forgot.
Yes, exactly.
But at the time, because I knew the order of concerts that I saw, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like that. Yeah, I saw him, and I saw her, and then I saw them, and I'm like, no, I don't even want to admit that for the longest time, I didn't want to admit that I seen another concert.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter now.
No, it doesn't
Seen
matter.
them. But yeah, that was it was embarrassing
Yeah, I remember
to
that,
admit that
with
you
Michael
like
Jackson.
somebody.
Yeah. Especially Michael Jackson. Why? I don't
I think
know.
that comes back to the Nickelback thing is because he was so popular and everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he can't be that good. We got to hate on him for some reason.
For something, yeah. Maybe.
And I think that's
And he was
That's
hated
all.
on by the public.
Yeah.
Like he had his fans,
Yeah.
but
Well, I think when you started seeing him changing due to the
skin condition.
the skin condition that he had, I think that's when it kind of started, because then all of a sudden he wasn't, quote, black anymore.
But I remember it being before that, like even before the Pepsi commercial. Like
Yeah,
I
because
remember
that was basically the start of it. Because
Yeah.
he got burnt
He got
pretty
burned,
badly when he was
Yeah.
rehearsing for that. Ended up actually suing Pepsi for it.
Yeah.
But then that's when he started with the plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And he'd already been diagnosed several years before that with the
Yeah.
skin condition, but hadn't
Because
disclosed
that's why
it
he
yet.
wore that glove.
Exactly.
Yes. I don't know.
Yeah.
If people, people didn't.
It
know
wasn't
that.
just a cool thing.
No.
It was for
It
a
was
reason.
to hide it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I think I can remember it being in elementary school that people
Yeah.
were like, you did not talk about the fact you like Michael Jackson. That's why, because when
So,
did
like grade 6, 7?
grade 6, 7?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. Like remember when he had the red leather jacket? So Thriller time. It was around that point.
yeah.
Because we were in
It
grade
did-
4 when Thriller came out.
Okay, well, I'm just thinking like outfit wise, like the same
Yeah.
like clothing
Maybe,
kind of
yeah.
era.
Oh yeah,
So
because he wore
probably
that in the
within-
Thriller video,
Right,
which would
yeah.
make sense.
So
that-
like
or-
Yeah.
it'd be, so
The
I guess
Beat
it
It
would be
one
like
too,
into that grade,
Yeah.
like probably
Sorry, it
grade
was
4
Beat
to
It.
grade
It was
6.
Beat It that he wore that red
Beat
jacket.
It. Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, so it was around that time, anyways. It was that kind of chunk of time. And then, but I think you're right too. It did change things once he did have that skin condition that started doing all his plastic surgery. People did look at him differently again in in another way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Yeah, because I remember them, like I said, speaking of like, quote, the hate
Yeah.
that was thrown his way. I remember a lot of it being around the fact that he was
that
no
he's trying to go
longer-
white. He was
Yes,
trying. He was doing it on purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bullshit.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are just like,
What a load of crap.
what a load of crap. That's right.
And I
People
know,
just mean.
like, a lot of people didn't like his voice.
Yeah. Oh, and then he had surgery to do it. That one. I have that in here too. Do you remember that? The controversy that he had surgery to keep his voice the same way as it was in that false.
I don't remember hearing that.
Rumor of a voice being surgically altered. Michael Jackson did not have surgery to keep his voice the same, but there have been rumors that his falsetto was the result of chemical castration. The idea that Jackson's voice was the result of chemical castration is a conspiracy theory that has been circulating for years. In his book, Michael Jackson, The Secret of a Voice, French vascular surgeon Alain Branchot, I can't say that, claims that Jackson's voice was like that of an operatic castrato. So it's because I remember they're saying like he had surgery when he was like a teenager or something to keep his voice the way it was before puberty changed it. Do you not remember this?
I don't remember hearing that at all.
No, I don't.
No.
I totally remember that rumor.
Yeah, no, I do remember that. Yeah.
And so you're always just like, I wonder what his voice would actually be like if he like actually was able to let it mature. But they're saying no, it wasn't true.
I mean, I can see. I mean, I'm glad obviously it's not true, but
no,
because you think about his voice when he was a kid,
yeah,
and then his voice as an adult,
yeah. They're saying the highness, I think, because Ben.
Okay, but it was still different.
Yeah, it still changed a bit,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
It just,
but they're just saying that he
didn't
altered
get
it.
like a deep voice.
Yeah, he never got a deep voice. I think that's why they were like, you did something.
You must have done something.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, he's saying that, but he could really, like, express, like, he could really, you know, like.
But even like when he talked, do you remember what he sounded like when he talked?
But then
without singing?
I've heard a recording of him
with
and,
deep.
Oh my God! Like he was yelling at,
because his voice was very high pitched. Just
I think he
talking
just
in
did
general.
that for.
Could have been. He wanted to
I've
sound
heard stuff
childlike.
like
I don't know.
they were talking about dancing and stuff like that, and he was ripping his dancers a new one, and it was like deep, and it was like whoa, that's
like dad voice, like dad anchor. I want to hear that.
I forget what it was. I heard it a couple of years ago, I think.
Oh,
trying to remember.
Well, I was gonna say one thing on it is because he was such a singer from such a young age and having people around, he was probably taught how to keep his voice in that same range.
Maybe.
So even
quite possibly, yeah.
you know, even as his voice changed, because he's using it, it's his instrument and stuff like this. Yeah, he would probably negate the deepness that would actually come with voice changing.
He changed it himself. Like it's a muscle.
Yeah.
So
yes,
I guess
exactly.
realistically, it would have stayed whichever way it was because he was using it all the time. Puberty probably wouldn't have affected it
as much. Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I have read or heard or whatever somewhere that he's one of the few people that have actually been, I would say, quoted as having perfect pitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
Because his voice didn't crack.
No.
It's like Freddie Mercury, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did.
But once again, I think being that kind of artist and stuff like this, you know how to take care of your voice. You know how to
exactly
acclimate it.
Do the exercises, do whatever to keep your voice in that range.
Well, because Mercury was trained opera, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So he had to. You have to sing with your diaphragm,
not
right?
Yeah.
So you're not
throat.
so you're not going to have any issues with your vocal cords as much.
Because it's coming from deeper
It's
and
coming
you're not
deeper.
forcing it all out of your
like
throat.
because he's doing all the different ranges all
Yeah.
the way down, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of the rock singers like
They just
Bon Jovi,
they rasp it
They
out.
just like
Joel, and all
screamed,
those guys, like they weren't trained.
No, they weren't.
No.
They just sang. And
Yeah.
Sang.
obviously now you can see they're paying the price a bunch of
Because
these
it
guys,
comes
right?
out and then we got a band, we're gonna play. Someone's got to sing.
Okay. You.
I guess I'm doing it.
Yeah,
exactly.
and you learn on the fly, and then next thing you know, the producers are like, "Can you hit those high notes?
Oh, yeah.
keep going,
Oh, yeah,
keep going."
sure.
And now
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh crap, I got to do that in concert now."
Yeah. Good
Oh
luck.
crap, this is a number one song. I have to sing this every show for
For the
next
rest of my life.
however many years.
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Well, do you notice that when you sing yourself, like if you're singing along to a song, does your voice, like your throat gets sore and tired?
Right away.
And it's because we don't know how to sing either, but we're just doing it,
We're
and
just
it's
doing
not
it,
doing it
yeah.
properly, right?
Like
so
when I played, singing, it was
Yeah.
there was no issues because I was doing it. Like we're playing a couple of times a week,
Yeah.
practicing, and then we're playing the odd show like once a month or something like that. So you're singing on a regular basis. But since
were you singing properly?
No.
Well, that's the thing.
the best I could, and
Yeah.
at the time it didn't bother me. Now if I try to sing in the car, I'm like halfway through the song hacking up along, like
Yeah.
coughing away,
Because
right?
you're not singing from your diaphragm, Lyle.
No,
Yeah.
no, you're
Yeah.
not, because you're sitting down. You're not.
Yeah. Because
You're
remember that
trying
choir
to.
lady that taught us?
Yeah, and that's where, because we never had any issues.
We didn't have issues when we were singing that stuff.
No.
Yeah, we
Because-
should do an album. Just saying.
No.
Why not? I think,
No,
I think we all sang
come
pretty well.
I think so.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I was thinking about the voice changes because I remember my voice before it changed. Obviously, it was never always this deep. It used to actually be so high. My parents at the time had those little find your keys things where you had to whistle. All I had to do was talk, and the thing would go off.
Wow.
Oh, how I wish I had known you then.
Right? Little squeaky voice.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah. Well, it's
I don't know,
been
this
pretty
is any
deep for a long
voices.
It
time.
has, no, but grade 6,
but-
yeah, I think you were. Yeah, you. I think
I
it
also
would
didn't
change.
talk much back
No,
then.
so
but
that's
probably
Is your
because,
voice-
Probably because of
that.
Squeaker, squeaking? Squeaker make squeaking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I hate the sound of my own voice. I don't know.
That's
You
fine.
never know.
I was
voices
teased as
are
a
good.
child.
Well, I think we all were,
Yeah,
for one thing or another.
of course.
What?
It's
I
his phone
heard
over
something.
there.
Oh, okay.
See, I was
That's
smart
like I
this
was
time.
wondering who was
I turned it
buzzing.
off.
You turned it on
volume. I
silent?
turned the
Yeah.
volume off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Always
I
a
knew
good
that was
idea.
going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have it on vibrate so we can hear it still.
Yeah.
I hate vibrate. I don't like it because it vibrates and then you hear it on whatever surface it's on. Yeah.
A little bit too much information, Kim.
I don't like vibrate on the
It's not that type of show. Come on.
With us, you never know what type of show it's going to
No,
be.
we don't. No, we
That
don't.
is
I was going to say, we just talked about a 10-year-old getting high at Michael Jackson concert.
This is true. This is true.
Like this is only part way through it.
I know. There's always going to be a lot to talk about because we also go off on tangents.
Yeah,
so
we do.
we now need to revert back, I guess, to the
make
Michael
our way
Jackson
back.
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Way back, isn't that one of his albums?
No.
No. Like we haven't even
Oh,
hit the later 80s
This
albums
is
yet.
it, or whatever. I don't know.
There's so many albums. I don't think we'll get to all the albums.
No.
But like, we can skip into the. I don't know. What do we
Well,
got?
if you want to back up a little bit,
Sure.
in 1985, they did "We Are the World."
Mm.
So he co-wrote that with Lionel Richie for a nonprofit USA for Africa.
Yep, that one was good.
Stars such as Ray Charles, Bob Dylan, Willie Nelson, Bruce Springsteen, Tina Turner, and Cindy Lauper, who was
Cindy
amazing.
Lauper.
Oh yeah, and
Among
Huey Lewis.
many others.
Huey Lewis.
Huey
Oh,
Lewis.
Yeah.
There's a great documentary on.
You've
what is
watched
it,
it,
Netflix?
right?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Was it Netflix or Disney or something
It was
like
Netflix.
that?
Netflix.
Watched it a couple times.
Should watch it.
pretty
If you
good.
haven't watched it, watch it because it's amazing.
Yes.
Watch all the music documentaries. Oh,
Well, because we can talk about Jackson then on this one. So when he was doing, like he was singing the parts,
yeah.
he was just singing the parts, but he wasn't putting any effort into it. And it sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just when he was warming up.
It's like, screw you, buddy. Yeah.
It's the top selling single of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was, who would have thought? I know when they were recording it, they didn't think they were going to get it recorded.
No,
No,
they were having problems.
Several people
Yeah.
Well,
were
once again, that
not coming
is
in.
a podcast
and-
that you do
Oh,
want
yeah,
to talk
no,
about.
we'll be talking about that later.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
a lot that we could talk about on
On
that.
that.
Yeah.
In this case, we should focus on Michael, I suppose.
How are you going to
Well,
focus?
we are.
We're
We
not
are.
good at focusing. Come on.
No, we're not good. You know this.
Yeah. Are you new
But
here?
anyway, yeah.
It's actually
If we
funny.
were talking about
It's-
albums and
it's funny
songs and-
that
Yeah.
I'm referring to us having to focus.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like, I don't focus on it. I have notes. I should probably read them.
You also have notes in here.
It's all good. It's all good.
Lots of
'cause
notes.
Yeah, there's more stories.
Okay,
looked
so what came after the We Are the World?
Well, then in 87, he released Bad.
Ooh, that's a really good
I know that.
one.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Yeah.
it was rather impossible to achieve the success of Thriller, but it
Oh,
still
yeah.
reached the top of the charts and produced 5 #1 hits.
Only 5.
Only 5.
Well,
Compared to 7 that
Jeez.
Thriller did, but you know.
man. I don't know. He didn't do good enough there.
No.
I can ask that question too. What's your favorite song off of that album, if you remember?
What's on the album, though, dude?
Yeah,
See,
exactly. Now I
let's
have to
just
go back
look.
to the discography again.
Yeah, because I don't remember
Well,
what was on
you
that
brought
album.
up the question. What is your answer?
I just had
Shoot, I
it.
think
I just had
He can't even come up with
He
the
likes
answer.
asking us
Nope.
questions.
it. Man in the Mirror.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is definitely, yeah.
That's a good
If
one.
it wasn't for Thriller, Man in the Mirror
Yeah.
would probably be my favorite. Because, yeah, I stop at that song every single time it comes on. I love it.
You're like, I gotta hear that.
It has such a good message. And
It's his voice.
Oh, but
That's
you know,
where he
that
gets
one's
that
so
rock
good.
Yeah.
voice.
What about The Way You Make Me Feel?
that's a good one,
That's
too.
a really good one, too. Just Good Friends. Yeah. See,
Demon.
Once again, good
Uh,
testament to good
yeah.
songwriting, because you have those songs that hit on the emotions, and whatever 40 years later, you remember them.
Yes.
There's something about that song.
which one?
Man in the Mirror. Like I
Yeah,
listened.
that's good. Yeah.
It's probably one of the last records that I did buy.
You know what, though? Smooth Criminal.
That's
And that's a
And that was
wicked
copied, too.
video,
Like, that
too.
was-
I love it.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
yeah.
Bad.
Yes,
Oh, see, I get all of them. I just like for different reasons.
Just Good Friends. He did that with Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another Part of Me. I Just Can't Stop Loving You.
That's
Such a good song.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're all good in their
Dirty
own
Diana.
right. Dirty Diana.
I like that one.
Yeah, that one's good, too.
That's the rock. That's
Yeah.
his.
Oh, the Bad Tour. Jackson's first solo world tour grossed $125 million, equivalent to $322 million in 2023, making it the highest grossing concert tour ever at the time.
Wow.
He performed 123 concerts in 15 countries to an audience of 4.4 million. That was on his Bad Tour.
Yeah.
Insane.
Is that million or billion on the?
Sorry, what did I say?
performer?
What did I say?
Million.
Million.
Okay.
But still,
Million.
that's just. And he did. He didn't. I don't know if he toured a lot. Like, because I think he only came to Vancouver just the
One time.
once. That was it.
Really? One time? That's it?
One time.
I never heard of him coming back again because I
Let's
definitely
see.
would have tried to go because I couldn't. Or
It-
not that I couldn't. I wasn't allowed to go to the first one.
Yeah, that's awful.
Would come to probably strategic marketing, lack of better terms, is depending on how you would perform is where like they probably go, find major cities and just anchor onto major cities. Like he probably didn't have, as daunting as a road tour as some of the hard rock bands we see who are literally hitting every venue within 50 kilometers of
Yeah.
each other kind of idea.
Well, this says Michael Jackson performed in Vancouver twice.
What?
Once as a member of the Jacksons and once
Yep.
on his own tour.
Oh.
The Jacksons Victory Tour
Yep.
performed with his brothers Jackie, Jermaine, Tito, Randy, and Marlon at BC Place on November 18th, 1984.
Yep.
And then,
Is that the one you were at?
Yep.
Okay.
where's the rest one? 25 years ago? No. It doesn't tell me what year. Solo tour. Jackson performed 3 concerts in Vancouver at the height of his career, breaking local box office records. Which ones, though? Why you no tell me?
Maybe it was when he was here with his brothers. That was the one that my aunt wanted to take me to that I wasn't allowed to go to.
Yeah, because
It could be because that's around that age.
Yeah.
That was the Victory
I seem
Tour,
to
right?
remember it being around 84.
Yep.
See, we don't always do all of our research beforehand. Sometimes
Sometimes
it
we
brings
do it
up
on the fly.
Me
questions.
and my stupid questions.
Not
Not stupid questions.
Good questions. Concert
No
tours
stupid
and
questions.
residencies.
Lots
Let's
of stupid
see.
answers, but no stupid questions.
Let's see. Oh, this tells you all the attendance and how big it was. Jeez.
Didn't even come up on.
Did he not do very many tours at all? In general?
No.
Because why does it say Bad World Tour, Dangerous World Tour, I can't talk even, History World Tour, and This Is It? Are those the only tours he did?
I think so.
What?
Well, see, I think that is just prior to his death. That was one of the
I
things.
guess say
is-
he was rehearsing to go back out when he
Yeah,
passed
he
away.
was going on a big tour, and that one
Yeah.
probably would have made it here had he
Yeah.
not
Okay,
died.
So, yeah, that
I know
okay.
the nerve.
So yeah, the Bad World Tour was from September 1987 to January 1989. The Dangerous World Tour, June of 92 to November of 93. The History World Tour, 96 to 97. And This Is It was July 2009 to March 2010.
Yeah, but he passed away in
Yeah,
2009.
so he didn't. Yeah, it says planned. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did 3 shows in Vancouver
Oh, you
in
found it.
1980 in 1984.
Oh,
He
okay.
did 3 November 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Oh, they were all in 84.
They were all in 84, that's why.
Oh, that's
Okay.
So it was only
Yeah.
really the one
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it says other than the Jackson 5, I guess that's why so he did the Jackson 5 one the one time and then came back and did
His solo.
his solo.
That was the only time.
Because the
that
Jackson 5 was in
Jacksons-
the summertime of 84?
It said
Well, it looked like it was-
November
it
of
was-
1984.
yeah, it was
Oh,
Yeah.
so then
It
it was the same.
It was
must
three
have been
consecutive-
the
same
It was
thing?
3
Three
consecutive days.
nights.
consecutive
Jeez,
days.
altogether, yeah.
Okay, so then he only came here
The one time,
once,
yeah.
which makes sense when you look at how many tours he actually did. I had no idea.
And that was the
No,
only
me neither.
Now you
but
need
I
to kind of go to his grave again.
yeah, right.
Vancouver was a great venue.
But the amount that he profited on those tours, let me just see. I had it here for a second. Where is it? There it is. So, Jesus. Bad
Billions,
World
it's
Tour.
billions. Has to be.
What is this? Oh, God. So there was 4,400,000 people in attendance. Whew. Grossing, really big number. Here you go. You said it.
What am I looking
The
at?
125 million? No. What
Yeah,
is
that's
that?
125.
Yeah, 125 million.
125 million.
Thank you, because I was like, it's a really big number. 125 million, and then that was the gross. Oh, gross
That
adjusted.
seems really low, actually.
Well, in today's money, it's 322 million. June, so the Dangerous World Tour, it grossed only 100 million.
Okay.
Wait,
At
100
that
million?
point
Yeah.
in time, that was before all the service fees through Ticketmaster,
Yeah.
when it was actually
That's
affordable
true. When
to
it was
go
actually
to a-
affordable, yeah.
And the history one did
And it
165
didn't double your
million.
ticket price with all the fees and shit.
You know, he
Stuff,
had
sorry.
he had around the same amount of people in attendance every time. It all was
It was capacity, probably.
Yeah, it
It would've
was.
been so- it
Well, I
would've
think
been
his
sold every
biggest
time.
tour was before he died. I think when
He
he was
made-
doing those shows. in
Yeah,
London,
because there
wasn't
was 50 shows planned.
it? Yeah.
He grossed 85 million, and there was only about 100,000 people in attendance because obviously, he didn't do all of them. There was 123 shows for his first tour, 69 for his second, 82 for his third, and only 50 planned for his fourth. Interesting, bouncing up and down and around here.
Yeah.
See, he's one of those artists where he more became into the studio to record
Yeah.
the music he wants, and then because obviously he grasped onto the visual medium is to do the actual video shoots and actually perform it and stuff. That's where he kind of got his exposure and everything that
Yeah.
way. Whereas, going to bands that we follow, it was you had to go to
Album
the clubs.
tour,
Y-
album
yeah,
tour,
album
yeah.
tour. You had to be everywhere. If you're not touring an album, people are going to forget about you.
Yeah.
Well, he did a benefit concert, MJ and Friends, June 25th to 27th, 1999 in South Korea and Germany. 2 performances.
South Korea and Germany.
It was a tour intended to help raise
Right?
funds for children in Kosovo, Africa, and elsewhere. He gave 2 concerts during the tour. First one took place in Seoul on June 25th, and the second one in Munich. Jackson was joined by longtime collaborator Slash during the 2 concerts. Wow, interesting. See, got to go down that rabbit hole once in a while.
Funny because
exactly.
they make those things that he didn't necessarily do that many tours. But obviously he's gone across the world, did world tours and stuff like this. Whereas you take an artist like Elvis because of Colonel Parker,
yeah.
he never actually got to perform outside of North America.
Yeah.
No, that was sad.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. Speaking of Slash,
Oh,
one of my notes I had on his history, past, present, and future.
yeah.
It was a 2-disc set or whatever. He actually collaborated with Slash as well as the Notorious Big, Shaquille O'Neal, and his sister Janet on different songs on those
Oh.
in that set.
Anything him and Janet did together too. So good.
Yeah, apparently he was a big influence on her Rhythm Nation album.
Yes.
You can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite clear. Yeah. That's like my favorite. Yeah.
Right? I know, I love that album too.
Yeah, it's really good. That's funny.
Awesome.
Wow.
Who didn't he have an influence on?
That's
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Pretty
topic
much.
for the next part.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do another part.
Yeah, we'll come back to it
Yeah.
because we're probably
Yeah.
This is probably
Going
run a little longer than
Yeah.
normal,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
thank you.
yeah.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll see you on part 2, I guess.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the B side.
Thank you for joining us on the Music Roundtable. Please like and comment where you listen to the podcast, and make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and let us know what you would like us to talk about. Until next time.